Hi Aries, welcome to the second week of October, and your general love reading for this month, or rather this week. The deck that I'm using now is the Crystal Visions Tarot. Alright, so for your overall energy, at the bottom of the deck you have the Seven of Pentacles, which to me talks about nurturing something, some thought, some idea, some situation. I feel like right now you're at a point where you've sort of begun the beginning stages of something. And I see that with the world as well. But you're sort of at a point where you're pouring in a lot of work, time, and energy into whatever it is that you're trying to accomplish. And I see it definitely working out for you. Overall, I feel like this is a pretty positive reading. So the first card that popped out was the Three of Pentacles, which talks about working together. And I feel like looking at this card, they're working almost together but separately, if that makes sense. So I feel like if you're in a position where, I don't know, you haven't talked to someone, or there's some kind of a situation that's sort of developing but you're kind of left out in the dark about it, like, rest assured that there's work happening on the other side as well. So I guess metaphorically, if it was like a group project of some kind, but you haven't been really communicative about how the group project is coming along, you'll get to a point where you like talk about it and you see that they've been working on it just as much as you have. And I really do get that with the Temperance. Maybe for some of you that you're in a situation where you've sort of been thinking about someone from the past, because I see a lot of this energy. I feel it mostly where there's two people working on themselves. I feel like this overall energy of the Seven of Pentacles could be you working on yourself, and the Three of Pentacles is sort of talking about the fact that they're doing it also. Sort of like both of you are working on yourselves to come back together, and I feel like that's sort of compounded on with the Temperance, because the Temperance talks about being able to combine things that aren't terribly compatible, because in this card, this angel is taking water and or rather is taking fire and tempering it with water, and that could be in a literal sense. Maybe you as the fire sign are dealing with a water sign, or someone who has like a lot of water in their chart, or you could also have a lot of water in your chart. It could just, I get the feeling that you have been sort of working a lot of stuff out. So if you're like a fire sign with a lot of water in your chart, you could be sort of learning to work with the sort of conflicting aspects of yourself. And with this World card, I feel like everything that you've sort of been working up to at this point is coming to an end. And not in a bad way, because the World card talks about completion. So I feel like all this stuff where, down here, for example, where you have the Five of Cups with the Eight of Swords, I feel like you're at a point where you feel trapped, at least to some degree. All these negative emotions that are related to like these two cards, I feel like that's in the past. And the Five of Cups also talks sometimes about somebody who's from the past, or at least somebody that you have history with, because the Five of Cups talks about 3 cups being spilled over, but still having 2 cups filled. So I think that in whatever situation, like there could have been fights, there could have been arguing of some kind, and then you both went your separate ways, but now you're sort of, there could be some kind of reunion with someone from your past. But I feel like things are going to be a lot different now, because I feel like last time you saw each other, you were sort of the Knight of Wands energy, and now you've ascended to the King of Wands energy. And if this person, and if your growth is indicative of anything in this other person, then you're probably gonna, it's a whole different ball game at this point when you get back together. But I feel like there may be a love offer coming in with this Page of Cups. I feel like this person is wanting to come in. To me, the person that's in the Page of Cups also looks strikingly similar to the Five of Cups. So it could be somebody who has decided to get out of this sort of broken-hearted energy and is coming back into this energy of, okay, how can we, where do we go from here? Sort of, the Page of Cups is always the beginning stages for me of like messages. And I feel like with this World card, you're sort of right now in the ending stages, but you're transitioning into this beginning period. And I feel like with this Wheel of Fortune, you're at a point where you're on your uptake. For me, when the Wheel of Fortune comes up in the upright, it's because you were sort of coming down from a bad situation, or let's say like a situation that was going negatively, and now you're back up on the swing and things are going more positively for you now. And whenever I see these cards of like the Seven of Cups, I always feel like it's time to get into manifestation mode. So start thinking about what it is that you want. Start thinking about how you can go about getting it. Think about all the things that make you happy and passionate to be alive, and look for those things in your life, because I feel like with this ascension of the Knight of Wands to the King of Wands, you're definitely at a point where you're looking for the passion in your life. I feel like the Knight of Wands is going out and finding the passion in his life, and once he's come back as the king, you know, he's found it. And perhaps at that point he wants to maybe share it with someone else. And it's really interesting to me how I see sort of the same looking woman in the Three of Pentacles, the Seven of Pentacles, the Temperance, the World, the Eight of Swords, and then like also the same woman in the Page of Cups, the Seven of Cups, and the Five of Cups. So I feel like you've sort of embodied those kinds of stories. I feel like you were at one point trapped as the Eight of Swords, and then you started working on yourself like the Seven of Pentacles, and while that's happening, the other person is as well with the Three of Pentacles, and you sort of ascended to be like an angel in the Temperance card, and then in the World card, you're closing out this situation, at least the way it is now. So I feel like in this other sort of story that I'm seeing here, you see like the heartbreak of the Five of Cups, and then the Seven of Cups is sort of at a point where it's like daydreaming and thinking about what could possibly be salvageable, and then the Page of Cups is sort of taking action, or at least beginning to take action. I looked at my timer on this video just a couple seconds ago, and it said 10:10, so maybe that could be a very, like, a meaningful message to you. Maybe October 10th of this week could be important to you. But I'm seeing so much positive energy. Like, the Temperance is good. The Wheel of Fortune is really good. The World is also fantastic. To me, the Seven of Cups is also a good card. The King of Wands is a wonderful card to have in your energy because you are a fire sign, and the King of Wands talks about Leo, Aries, and Sagittarius. So I think you guys are really coming into your energy, and whatever it is that you've been working on, if you've been working on yourself, this turned into a really specific message, by the way. But I think that if you've been working on yourself, definitely continue to work on yourself, because you're going to get really far in whatever it is that you want to do right now. I feel like now is a really good time for you to be manifesting and working and achieving your goals. So I hope to see you guys next week for your next weekly reading, and I wish you guys the best of luck.